action here on the UFC pre-show. It is number 9 versus number 14 as Islam Makhachev faces Thiago Moises in our main event. Hello and welcome to the pre-show. Karen Bryan here, just hanging out with the number 5 welterweight in the world, Mr. Michael Kia. So the number 4 lightweight, Mr. Michael Chandler. We've got Heidi Androl with us as well. And Chandler, yeah, okay, so you got UFC Live under your belt. How are you feeling about being here with us?
I'm feeling good, you know. I got the first round on the belt. Get to hang out with you guys, Mike and Mike. The 1-2 punch. Take off the fighter hat. Be looking at the analyst today. Enjoy the room.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, and it just feels weird being the veteran of the desk. This is always still so new to me, but it's good to have you here, Michael Chandler. We got a great card to talk about. Look, this is a great way for me to break up the monotony of training camp because I've been hard at it for the last 6 weeks, and so it's nice to take a little refreshing break, not be the fighter, be the analyst, and hang out with you guys.
And plus, it's nice to know that you guys won't have to fight each other now that you switch divisions and stuff. It won't get awkward.
Thank goodness.
So,
I know, yeah. It really is. I know. It's insane to think that you used to make 55. My goodness. A lot of fights coming your way on Saturday. Taking a look at the prelims headed your way. 6 fights in 5 weight classes. Heavyweight Bado and Nascimento start us off with a bang. We've got ranked strawweight Amanda Lemos meeting Montserrat Canejo before the featured prelim in the welterweight division. We've got 5 fights on our main card on Saturday night as well. 2 of those will be contested at lightweight, including Makhachev versus Moises. We're going to round things out with featherweights, middleweights, and a bantamweight matchup featuring a returning from retirement Misha Tate in our co-main event. Now, when the last man does make the walk on Saturday, he'll be fighting for an entire nation from a tiny village in Dagestan to the main event in Las Vegas. Islam Makhachev believes he's not only destined to become champion, in fact, he was born and bred.
I'm born in Dagestan, Makhachkala, but all my life I live near this village. А вот когда ты приезжаешь с Махачкалы в горы, у местных ребят было какое-то понятие, что вот городские типа слабые.
Oh yeah, it's dab time, baby.
И часто приходилось там драться, постоять за себя так.
We here every week. Yes, sir. Bro, there's like fucking 3 fights in a row coming up. Every week. Every week. Next week we got TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen. It's gonna be crazy, bro. That's what I'm saying. They're having 3 fights in a week, bro. It's fucking amazing. It's like fight month. It's like fucking fight month. The whole month is just straight fighting, like obviously every Saturday, but not like every day. But if you look at it, they got bare knuckle, they got Bellator, they got one fight championship, you know, they got all those, so you could be watching a few more extra fights if you like all that. Oh yeah. I feel like that's just gonna fall. We'll just keep it like that. Oh yeah, I'm about to go ahead and take a dab right now. My daughters are napping in their room. So we about to be litty right now. It's dab time, baby. Right over here on this TV, they're showing the pre-fight show. We're gonna go ahead and watch it right now after this dab. Shit, it's Oof Man. Yo, Oof Man, what's going on, bro? UFC equals good card every 2 weeks. Boxing equals good fight every 2 years. That's true as fuck, bro. Hey, but next month on the 29th, you got Jake Paul and Tyrone Woodley, so it's a pretty good one.
But I think a lot of people are going to assume that's all he has. What would you say?
Well, on the one hand, you got to think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If he can do exactly what Khabib has done over the last decade, he's going to find success, obviously. I think he's a little bit more dynamic in areas, a little bit less aggression at times, so I'd like to see a little bit more aggression. But man, overall, an expert in Sambo, systematically just smashing guys from bell to bell.
This is going to be a nice old dab. I'm about to be feeling real good after this.
Yeah, you know, his technical prowess is so good. I mean, he's got such a diverse skill set in terms of how he can finish. We've seen him win by knockout like he did against Gleison Tebow. We've seen him get submissions like he did over Drew Dober, like he did over Cajun Johnson.
Oh, I'm about to feel real good.
You know, fight 2-3 rounds. So he's just
all right.
a very diverse type of skill set. But just like you said, we need to
cheers, y'all.
More of that pressure, a little more of that pace. When people make that comparison between Khabib and Islam, that's the difference between the two of them. Very similar styles because they have that Russian Sambo base, but Khabib is so much more of a pace fighter. He's just in your face from bell to bell. He puts a ton of pressure on you. He breaks you. He puts a lot of volume out there. And Islam's more the technical fighter. Really works behind the jab, 1-2 punches. Just kind of sets his stuff up a lot more. So I would like to see Islam. Don't go be like Khabib. Be your own fighter. Be your own individual. But go put the pace on this guy. Put some of that pressure on that you've seen your mentor do. See how it pans out. I think that would be a good benefit for him in this fight.
Absolutely. And when you talk about pushing the pace, you also talk about pushing the pace and but also getting that takedown. What are guys that are pushing the pace?
It's a little too cold.
I've seen it in his last 7 fights here.
All right, cheers, y'all.
He sucks the life out of you. Then he can really get those finishes like we're talking about. This fight very soon here with Thiago Moises needs to be a statement fight. He needs to take him to the deep waters. He needs to try and get a finish to solidify himself and make true Khabib's words that he is the face of the future of this division.
Well, yeah, and the thing that's interesting too about their relationship, it's not. I like what you said, mentor, because when you ask Steve about it, sometimes I'm kind of like a coach. It's kind of like a brotherhood. It's a lot of things together because they've been friends since childhood. So really, you could do a lot worse than to have Khabib. But of course, guys across the octagon, Thiago Moises is like, yeah, that's all fine and good, but I've got goals of my own. And he's a man who could absolutely pull off the job. This is a man who is never out of the fight. He goes right to work in the octagon, has the 5th highest submission attempt rate with 1.31. He stays in the fight as well. His comeback ankle lock win against Michael Johnson marks the largest statistical comeback in UFC lightweight history. So like a lot of fighters on the roster, Thiago Moises was discovered on Dana White's Contender Series. Take a look at how the 26-year-old American top team fighter
Ooh.
When I got to the Contender Series, before the fight, I was in the locker room. I felt I was living my dream, I cried, in the backstage right before my fight. And then I said, man, I cannot let anyone see me crying here because I'm going to fight soon. We work so hard, to achieve our goals. It's like hard work of a lifetime. I was very emotional. And then when you get there, it's a very proud moment.
Thiago Moises, former member of the American top team camp in Coconut, Florida. That certainly has high respect. He is a last-minute replacement for this opportunity.
I fought in morning. I did it to black belt, and I got a TKO with that in the first round.
Moises going in for the kill. Jason Herzog steps in to stop it.
When I got the win, I was very happy. I knew right away that I got the contract.
Chuck Moises.
Woo! That was hot right there towards the end. That reheat fucked my banger up.
And could definitely play spoiler. How can you pull it out?
Well, just continue to do what he's been doing so well, and that's not just be the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. We saw, especially in that Alexander Hernandez fight, he looked so comfortable and composed on the feet, and I feel like that is so rare to see out of somebody with such a high pedigree.
Damn, I fucked my shit up. No.
Many calf kicks. He's got very subtle.
I don't like that at all.
Sometimes you'll see a lot of these guys that transition from grappling to mixed martial arts. They do everything on such a straight line. It's either they back straight up or they go straight forward. And this guy moves very well laterally. He sets up his right hand well, and it really supplements the calf kicks when he's able to move side to side. And looks, Alex Hernandez is one of the most athletic guys in the lightweight division. Next to Michael Chandler. When you can take,
I was about to say that nigga right there in the lightweight division.
with your striking and your base is grappling, that just shows that there's a tremendous amount of growth in Thiago Moises, and he's gonna need all of those skills going into this main event against Islam Makhachev.
And this young man, Moises, is explosive and he is dynamic. And the man throws heavy leather. He might not get a knockout every single fight, but the man throws heavy leather with bad intentions. If we do have any thoughts about him that he's had struggled in the past, it's when he's thrown himself into that fire, into that race between two fighters, and it's got sometimes. I think Thiago could catch him a shot, or at least make him start second guessing himself from pressing forward. So I'm excited about this one. He's a dynamic guy, and we're in for a big good.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Karen. One thing that favors Thiago Moises is this is Islam Makhachev's first 5-round fight. He's never fought 5 rounds. He's never been in the main event. Now we have a guy, Thiago Moises, who he's gone into the 5th round 3 times in his career. Went 2-1 in 5-round fights where he's gotten to that 5th round. And you know as well as I do, Mike, you've been in a lot of 5-round fights. I finally went through my first 5-rounder myself. When you get into those deep water, 2 rounds 4 and 5, it is like it's
Find out who you are.
It's uncharted territory. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know the types of levels you have to put your body to, where you have to take the headspace you have to go to get into those deep waters, those deep rounds. It's somewhere that Islam hasn't been, and that's somewhere that Thiago's very frequent of. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens if they go to the labor.
Very interesting, and Thiago having that experience is going to serve him well. But when you go back and you listen very look at that promo, and you think about Islam Makhachev, look at that aerial view, that tiny little village, and how they talk about that entire country goes from that mountainsides, from the rural areas, and transports themselves into the city where they can get and see these fights, watch this man compete, fly that flag. The man's fighting for more than just wins. He's fighting for more than just gold belts and money. The man is fighting for a nation. So he's got that fighting spirit. We've seen it in the past in 3-round fights. It's going to be very interesting to watch him going into that 20th and 25th round.
Well, my initial question was, how can Thiago play spoiler? And we do want to hear his thoughts on this fight. It's an important one for him. Heidi Andral was able to catch up with him this morning. Let's take a listen.
Thank you very much. Well, a big weekend for you, Thiago. Take us back to the moment you got the call that you would be headlining this card.
That was such a happy moment of my life. I can't remember. Headline UFC it's a dream for me. It's been a lifetime of hard work to get here, so I'm very happy with this opportunity.
You know, a lot of hype around your opponent, many saying he is the best in the world, even. How would you rate him?
Man, he's the toughest match on the top 15 for sure, and I'm planning on going there and beating him and getting close for a title fight.
I know you have a wonderful team, an American top team. You said you've worked a lot of jiu-jitsu for this fight. How do you see this one playing out?
I think this fight's going to be a lot of grappling. Yeah.
No surprise, given your opponent.
So I said,
Very good. In terms of what impressed you most?
I need to fix that motherfucking shit, cuz. Why the fuck that shit holding up? You like I got fucking toupee on or something, nigga. Hold a minute. That fucking dab got me.
Plus 475 for Thiago Moises, minus 650 for Islam Makhachev. I do want to get to our co-main event of this fight will be conducted at 130 pounds in the women's bantamweight.
I'm gonna fuck around and cut this shit off, nigga. I swear to God.
She is saying goodbye
I'm gonna cut this shit off.
Misha Tate, though, the former champion who's coming back from more than 4 years off in retirement. So, an important fight for both women. Let's take a listen in to hear what Marion Renault is thinking, though, on the eve of her final walk to the octagon.
Is this versus Misha Tate?
Misha Tate.
It is.
My last and final fight of my career.
Oh, wow.
I don't walk away with any regrets because I think that all the lessons that I learned along the way has formed the person that I am today and the fighter that I am.
Just doesn't look like they ever had anything to get out of this position. Lovely finish there from Marion Renault.
I've learned to become mentally stronger. I've learned to develop a backbone unlike any other. I've learned that age is not a factor.
She's bouncing Bernardo's head off of the canvas here. That's it.
Bouncing her head off of the canvas.
There it is. Marion Renault submits Sarah McLaren.
When I first started this, I was 36 years old. And at 36 years old, I was told I was too old to be in the UFC. I remember that. And as I finish my final fight, I will be 44 years old.
Dang.
My legacy is going to be
She.
nothing will stop you. Not age, not weight, nothing.
That's crazy.
All right, so Tampa,
44 right now. She's about to
never say die
fight
not
Misha
if
Tate.
This is a woman who can be very, very aggressive when she needs to be. How dangerous is she going to be on Saturday?
Very dangerous. She's listed at 5'6", but she fights very, very long. She gets behind that jab. She throws basic strikes. If she gets you in the clinch, as you saw there up against the cage, she will throw knees and elbows in a plenty. Her grappling is on point. She's very dominant in every single position. She's just about as well-rounded as you can
She laid her ass down.
Let's not forget about the heart and the mind and the soul as she moves forward.
She's 9-7-1, but she's 44 years old.
She's got such, like you said, tremendous heart, tremendous tenacity, extremely durable. She's never been finished in the UFC, and I don't know if there's many females in the UFC that can say that. She's never been finished, and that's, to some they might say that's not something you tip your cap to, but I do because I know how dangerous this sport can be, and that just shows the next level of toughness she has. And in this fight, when I've never been in my career, but that day will come. But I know that if I was in her position and I was going to say this is going to be my last fight, I know that I would prepare like I've never prepared.
She's gonna come out. She's gonna come out strong.
No stone unturned. I would probably be more focused on that.
A 44-year-old. Her last fight in the UFC.
So it's going to be really interesting to see what version we see as she exits, and on the other side of it, the Misha Tate coming back in. It's such an interesting storyline.
Such an awesome opportunity to make that storybook ending for Marion Renault. To put it, as she said, an exclamation point, not a period. She wants to go out with a bang, and who better to do it against than a legend in the sport of Misha Tate? She's tasted championships in Strikeforce.
Michael Chandler has the analysis. Look.
So she's using words like taking it all in, and if you listen to her and watch her in her interviews in the lead up, she's full of life, full of glow. I think we're going to see the best version of herself in order to put her best foot forward and have her best performance on the last fight of her career as she finishes out her contract. She saw through to her commitment. She said, I signed a 4-fight deal. I didn't tell anybody I was retiring. I wanted to finish my contract, and that's what she's doing on Fight Night.
And that's the one thing I like that she had said is like, she looks at her contract as like a commitment. Like, I want to be a person that upholds my word. I want to stick to what I said, and she wants to finish the deal. And that just shows what type of person she is. And on the other side of that, this is a lady that's a high school teacher. She's setting such a good example for her students. Like, what a role model to have. I couldn't imagine being a high school kid and having my teacher be a UFC fighter. I mean, it's just, she's a great parent. She's a great role model. She's a great teacher. And I think that this moment is going to be very special for her.
Yeah, we do want to sort of thank her already in advance for her commitment to the organization, and it is really a great opportunity.
Oh, here go a goodbye video.
Somebody like Misha Tate in her comeback fight.
I need to work on my acne.
This is tricky up here, folks. But so she's been gone for more than 4 years. Misha has, but she is a former Strikeforce champ, a former UFC champ. This is a woman who submitted Holly Holm. If you could remind everybody the skill set that got Misha as far as she did get.
Look, Misha, when it comes to the skills,
Oh, they didn't even give her a goodbye video?
Very good wrestling, just a full repertoire of skills that you need to become.
Or maybe they did. I was fucking probably smoking.
Attribute has always been her mental toughness. I have seen Misha take training fight all the way back to the days when she was an amateur. And if you had seen the wars that she had been in, she's had her nose broken, she's had her arm broken, and she never quit. She's got this never say die attitude. She's always in a fight, very similar to Marion Renault. But you know, Misha just being burned out on the sport, having a lot of personal issues outside of the octagon, and she said openly herself in her pre-fight interviews that she was having some issues with depression, and it was really sucking the life out of her. It was taking the passion away. It was really extinguishing the fire that you need to compete. And so she walked away.
Dang, her last fight was 5 years ago. Misha Tate might be getting fucking demolished tonight. I could see it happening. But she has more experience. She does look more like the hungrier fighter, the more explosive one.
She's well off. She's a former champion. She's fine, but she wants to compete, and I think that that's what makes her so dangerous. Is once she cleared the slate, got all these things off her shoulders, she just feels like a totally new person. She's passionate about training again. And if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times through these 2 shows. If you saw her at weigh-in, she's absolutely shredded. I mean, she's got a better six-pack than both of us, Mike. You know, and I think that that's just very important for her, is to have the passion to do this, to compete in the octagon and put your health on the line. You have to love it. And the love is back. The fire is back. I'm excited to see Tate 2.0.
So excited. There's no denying the skill and the heart of Misha Tate. She's done it at a championship level for so many years. But just as fighters, you hear it all the time in the commentary during fights. A guy gets hit, or a girl gets hit, they get rocked. They got to clear the cobwebs, right? They got to get back to neutral. They got to get back to where they need to be focused on the task at hand. Going back and watching these promos, it was slow motion of Misha Tate crying in the octagon in her last fight, saying, "I can't do this." I got chills, started tearing up. And as she's walking out of that UFC octagon 5 years ago, she's in tears, and you could just feel the heaviness. She used words like heavy and depression. She was in pain, trying to do what she thought she was supposed to be doing, but it just wasn't fun for her. Now, if you listen to the lead up, in happy tears type of way, we're watching promos of her talking about her children, talking about her partner Johnny Nunez, talking about finding the passion, love for the sport, why she fights and who she fights for. That's the storyline in this fight, and that's what gets us jacked up for fight night, to see Marion Renault as she exits and Misha Tate as she comes back. I'm more excited to watch these girls.
Oh, this is gonna be a great fight. This is gonna be a great fight.
I know a lot of the things that were going on behind the scenes, but you know, in terms of the training environment, there was a big part of the problem was within her environment, and that has been eliminated. And now she's working with the likes of my head coach Rick Little from Sick Jitsu. She's bringing him out to Las Vegas. She's working with Eric Nixon. She's working with Coach Sam Calvina down at the training lab. She's gotten that negative part away from that environment that she loves so much, and surrounded herself with the right people. And you know as well as I do, Michael Chandler, you have to be surrounded by the right people to be at your very best in this sport and in life as well. So I feel like her eliminating the negative energy and the negative people.
Why are these guys talking so much facts right now?
That's been the catalyst to propel her back into this moment. And I couldn't be any more excited for it. I mean, obviously, I'm a homer. That's my girl. And I watched this day stand up. Let's go.
Seeing that on your face, because I think that's what we all do. As mixed martial arts fans, if you're not a fan of what Misha Tate has done thus far, the way that she carries herself, how she goes about her business inside the octagon and outside the octagon, you need to check your pulse. Secondly, life outside the octagon and inside the octagon, inside the training room, is defined by how hard we work and who we surround ourselves with. The hard work was never a problem for Misha Tate, but now that she's been able to recalibrate, reassess, and redo some of the areas of her life, I think we're going to see a new and improved Misha Tate. As I said, I'm sitting in my hotel room listening to these promos. You can feel the energy, you can feel the happiness through it in these interviews. The light in her eyes, the glow in her skin. She's excited to be back. And as she talked about with Dana White's text message, come home. Yeah. She is home, and we get to be the beneficiaries of watching this extremely awesome fight play out between 2 very talented young ladies. And I couldn't be more excited to fight.
Well, yeah, as you guys perfectly articulate here, attitude is everything, and the wrong mindset can undermine even the most perfectly conditioned athlete. So as Misha does return to action here after more than 4 years away, she comes back with a newfound love for the challenge of mixed martial arts and a new sense of purpose for fighting thanks to her family.
In the lead up to my final fight, I was in a really dark place. I was suffering from depression. I was struggling. I was thinking that I just had to get through another day. see any light at the end of the tunnel. I felt like I was drowning, and I had to take a big step away from everything, and that included fighting. June 3rd, 2018, my life changed forever because my daughter was born. She's just such an amazing little girl. She's 3 years old now. Sometimes I look at her and I think, I cannot believe that I made that little person. 2 years later, my son enters the world and life changes again. I love my son to death. He's just a magical little boy. He's so sweet. I'm so blessed in so many ways, and I'm so very, very grateful to have an amazing partner and 2 beautiful children that we have together, and the life that we've built has made all the difference. It's turned everything around for me, and it's given me perspective and a love that I never knew before. I want to show my daughter that strong women exist, and that it's okay to put herself first at times. It's okay to have dreams and goals. I just watch her grow and become this amazing little girl. She's such an inspiration to me. It is so great to have my daughter in the gym with me. Before it was so serious and it was so heavy, and now the love that I have in my practices, the smiles, I have a great day every single day. She completes me. She really does. She brings the purpose to what I do.
I think we should always have this drive and determination. I think it just comes from different sources. And now I think the legacy that she wants to leave behind for her children is a focal point in the way she trains.
Being a mother has given me purpose. It's given me meaning. It's added a ferocity. And it just became clear to me that fighting was in my future again. I am back. There is a passion burning brighter than ever in my heart. And I have destiny calling. And I know it's time to answer. This is my future, and this is my family's future. And there's nothing that's going to stop me from reaching my goals.
Yes, Cupcake is back. The former UFC and
Oh,
Strikeforce
shit.
champion is back. She was champ in 2016 and 2011, respectively. She's had 17 fights between the 2 organizations. That is the most for any bantamweight. Definitely want to hear from her. Heidi Ambrose spoke to her this morning at Weight.
Thank you very much, guys. Well, Misha Tate. I didn't think that would come out of my mouth again in this kind of scenario. What was it like for you to walk in this building? It didn't exist. I don't believe the last time you fought. So when you walked down that hallway and saw all the jerseys, did you see yours? Did that bring back memories? What was this like? Yeah, it's just, it's a walk down memory lane, and although this building is new, it's still the UFC. The UFC feels like home. So it's very natural. I went to the IMA zombie fight just so I could kind of get
Oh, shit.
fight hard here. But I'm ready to do this. What do you credit this mental reset with? Just growing up, to be honest. I feel like I went from girl to woman, and I changed so much about the surroundings in my life. But they say you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, right? I mean, it's so true in a way that when you surround yourself with people that have strengths in different areas where you grow and you learn and you adapt. And now I've become a mother, and I have such an amazing partner by my side. And my mother's down here, and I'm just like, I love you, Mom. Like, I have a new appreciation for my mother. She's amazing. Yeah, my dad's down here too. And I don't know, just like the connection in life, right? I just have a new appreciation. And, not to get like solemn or anything, but I lost my coach, Robert Follis, too. He passed away. He took his own life, and that was something that was really tough. But again, all these things kind of make you reevaluate what's most important in life, and I've got those things. So now I feel like I'm in such a great place, and I've learned from all the, negative experiences that I've had in my life, and I've turned it into a positive charge.
I can see that, and I've known you a long time, since you were, I think, 20 years old when I met you, and you have become a woman in much
much of that was in front of the world, so I know that had to be challenging. It's great to see you back. I have to know, take 2.0, you're calling it. What can we expect, given the fact that your opponent has already announced her retirement in advance of this fight? I look at this as, I assume, right? Because I'm not her, I don't know what she feels. I only know I feel amazing.
Oh, this is gonna be a great fucking fight.
Done everything right.
Chat, leave a comment below. Who do you think's winning, left or right? Her, that girl right now, she's making her return to the UFC, and the other girl is leaving. That's her last fight. Oh.
Show the world exactly what I'm capable of, and that this is not just a one-off fight, that I want to be a champion again, and it all starts with Mario Renault, and it starts on Saturday. Welcome back. All right, on that, we can't ask any further questions. I mean, we could, but we'll save it for Saturday. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Just a little context, though, Kia. So, looking at the division, how far can Misha go in her comeback?
Look, she can go back all the way to the top. She's always had the skills. There's never been a deficit of skills, and I don't feel like the division has passed her up. So I see the way that the ladies are performing now. I think her skills are still on par with some of the best in the world. So I mean, the sky's the limit. But we'll find out. You can't look too far ahead. She's got a really tough opponent ahead of her in Mary Renault. So I think Misha just got to take it one fight at a time, but her head's in the right place. That's for sure.
Obviously, yeah. Within Renault, a tough test, a tough opportunity to get back, not just in the win circle, but just get back inside the UFC octagon. As you said, I think she can go straight to the top. She's been a lifelong athlete. You're not going to lose all those skills, lose all those muscle memories just in a couple of years out. I think we see it phenomenal. We should take G1 on. Let's see what happens.
Well, she is favored in the comeback fight, -130. So good luck to Misha, and also good luck to Marion as well, as she says goodbye to the octagon. But gentlemen, let's talk about a couple of other fights here on our main card. Chandler, want to hit you up on this one. Featherweight division, they've been giving us so many great fights. I'm curious what your thoughts are when we see Billy Keita going down with Mobley Gabriel Benitez.
This is one that Mike and Mike both call possible fight of the night matchups here. I mean, both of these guys extremely versatile, extremely dynamic. Gabriel Benitez a little bit more experienced inside the octagon, but Billy Q, a tough, The Ultimate Fighter veteran, as well as a Dana White Contender Series, has gotten into the big show, worked himself back up, worked himself up to the top, dynamic everywhere, and both of these guys sling a ton of leather, and we get to be the beneficiaries. High pace, getting after it, mixing everything up, takedowns, slinging leather, and going.
Well, also, Michael Chiesa, we could have another potential fight of the night when Jeremy Stevens throws down with Mateus Gamrot. Though any Jeremy Stevens fight could be fight of the night.
Yeah, these are the top two candidates. But look, this is a matchup of the new era versus old school. You've got Mateus Gamrot, who's just such an accomplished grappler. He's got a very dynamic leg lock game, and he dives on these low singles, which is so rare to see in MMA. And we saw in his fight against Scott Holtzman, dynamic with the hands as well. Got a emphatic knockout. But look, Jeremy Stevens. When you talk Jeremy Stevens, you only think one thing, and that's bludgeoning, violent KOs. And Jeremy, he's good at using all 8 of his weapons. He uses his knees, his kicks, his elbows, his fists, particularly his fists. But it is one of those cases where it's new school versus old school, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Jeremy Stevens has been fighting inside the UFC, growing up inside the UFC octagon, longer than most of us have even been fighting. The performance this man has put on, the excitement that he brings, the bonuses that he brings home is nothing short of amazing. So I'm excited to see this one. Obviously, Gamrot has been almost only 2 fights in the UFC, 1-1, lost 1. So we want to see what happens. Jeremy Stevens, he can probably. I think Jeremy Stevens has the knockout power, has the power in the striking department. But Gamrot is extremely well armed as well, that he's shown us thus far.
Yeah, Chiesa, Jeremy Stevens is a legendary figure, and this man has got a lot of accomplishments already in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of said it all and done it all. He's been in the UFC so long. He made his UFC debut when he was 21. I just can't wrap my head around doing the same thing and being a mainstay for so long. He has almost been in the UFC like half as long as he's been alive, and that's just so crazy to think about. But when you look here, Jeremy Stephens, 18 knockouts, tied for second most in UFC history, 33 fights, fourth most in UFC history, and an astonishing 10 performance awards, 10th most in UFC history. That racks up to a lot of money. We did a little walk and talk with Jeremy Stephens today. Let's hear what he had to say. Jeremy Stephens, how you feeling?
Feeling energized, my man.
Yeah, first fight back at 155 since 2012. It's got to feel good, right?
Feels great, honestly. It really does.
A little 10-pound weight allowance.
Oh yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, so you fought through so many eras in the UFC. You know, I got to ask you, what's been your favorite so far?
Right here, right now, the best is the present moment. You know, you got the Adesanya's coming in and just making it slick style, smooth, and a lot of great fights been happening lately. Good time for the UFC and MMA in general.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, this is a guy who makes his UFC debut in 2007 at 21 years old on your 21st birthday. If you could go back in time and tell your 21-year-old self anything, what would it be?
Nothing, man. He was such a hard head at that time. You know, I would just say he did right. You know, he kept a solid mind during the roller coaster, and he kept it all together mentally.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, because you're still here right now.
Yes,
still chugging along, going strong. Now, I got to ask you, you've had so many fights in the UFC, so many great finishes, so many great moments within your competitive career. What's been your favorite fight so far?
Thank you, brother. This next one, tune in Saturday night, and you'll see why.
How do you get it done on Saturday?
Something coming up the middle, and vicious KO, baby.
I believe it, man. Best of luck.
Thank you, bro.
I look forward to watching it.
Okay, sir. Tune in.
Suki, so walking, talking, sitting at a desk. Is there nothing you can't do?
I don't know. I'm not really good at sewing. But look, Jeremy Stephens, you know, just an honor to walk and talk with a guy like that. Just a true legend of the sport, true legend of the UFC. You know, and he's a guy. The thing that impressed me most about Jeremy Stephens is doing that walk and talk with him. Every question that he had an answer for involved the now. He's very focused on the now, and that just shows that he still has a ton of passion and appreciation for his craft. And that's crazy to think, because he's been doing it for so long, since 2007. You would think at some point that he would get burned out, but he never has. He's always stayed very passionate about the sport. He loves what he does. He loves performing for the fans. That's one thing he takes a lot of pride in. He loves putting on exciting fights for you guys on the other side of this TV screen. He does this for you guys. He does this for his family. And it's just it's really cool to see a guy that still loves it as much as he does this far along in his career.
Yeah, and if you've been fighting in the UFC as long as Jeremy Stephens has, it's very easy to get burnt out. He obviously has not. He's not thinking about the past. He's not thinking about the future. He's thinking about this opportunity here this weekend that we get to watch once again Jeremy Stephens perform. Jeremy Stephens is a perfect mixture of joy and happiness and contentment mixed with tenacity and ferocity. He lives on both ends of the spectrum, right? The young man that you just spoke to, he's joyful. He's happy to be here. He's living in the moment. As soon as that cage door closes and they touch gloves, we see a different animal. And that's what we as fighters are trying to show to the fans at home, that, you know, we can do both. We can be here, we can be happy, we can be playing around. But then when it's time to do a job, we do a job to the best of our ability. Just like anybody does at home or in any vocation. Jeremy Stephens is the poster boy for that, and I can't wait to watch him compete on Saturday.
I'm just glad to be on this good side.
Yeah, I know. You're 100% right. This is a guy who's calm, cool, and collected and speaking with you, but then once that door closes, unbelievably effective in there.
Little Heathen comes out.
Yeah, Little Heathen for sure. Little Heathen is the underdog in this one, though, but he's been there before, and that hasn't stopped him. So let's take a look at the prelims coming your way, though. On Saturday, we have got 6 fights in 5 different weight classes. We're going to get things going. With the heavyweights, we do have ranked strawweight Amanda Lemos in action against Montserrat Canejo. That fight goes down before the featured prelim in the welterweight division. Chiesa featuring Daniel Rodriguez. He's landing in that spot for a reason.
These should be some decent ones.
Submission win over the veteran.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy.
What are his best weapons?
Well, look, I've been training with D-Rod out here in Las Vegas, and the first day I trained with him, we actually did some sparring, and right off the get-go, the first 10 seconds, he cracked me with a beautiful right-handed jab. You know, and that's what he has. He's got good, solid boxing skills. He's just extremely composed. The thing I like about him is he's got a good attitude. He approaches his training very smart, and you can tell he's so fit headed into this fight. I talked to him on Monday. He was only 181 pounds headed into the fight week. That just means he had a smooth weight cut. That means he's in good shape and he's ready to go.
But Chandler, you know about the man he'll be fighting, Preston Parsons, the debutant.
I do. Preston Martins. I actually met this young man when he was just barely a teenager, 13 or 14 years old. He's been a highly touted recruit for a very long time. Just so happens he makes his UFC debut as I make my desk debut. He's got nine finishes, 4 arm bars, 4 rear naked chokes, 1 guillotine. So to say that this man wants to get it to the ground is an understatement, especially if you're fighting a guy like Daniel Rodriguez, who wants to keep the fight on the feet. He's a Joe Schilling trained fighter, so he wants to go out there and just get after it. So if you're Preston Parsons, you want to make a good UFC debut, but you want to go out there and have a good performance against a tough guy in Daniel Rodriguez. So we'll see how the fight plays out. Preston Parsons, I think, can get the job done if he gets the fight to the ground.
All right. Well, I want to ask you guys about the strawweight fight on the prelims as well. Kiesa Amanda Lemos is riding a 3-fight win streak into this one. She's